Future of the channel. Just watch Vaush's Future of the Channel video. By the way, I have no idea what this video is. Okay? I streamed for like 10 hours on New Year's Day. I have no idea what I said that my editors could have said this of. So I don't even know what this is in response to. To sum it up, quote, the woke scolds are largely irrelevant at this point because he hasn't had drama with him. If you think the dynamic right now with woke scolds is comparable to how it was back in 2017, 18, 19, 20, that kind of era, then you just weren't around for that point in time. Totally different environment, you know? Like a ton of stuff has happened back since then. It's incomparable. I think the discourse has shifted significantly from that point. Fewer, if any, debates. He doesn't want to give small right-wing channels his presence. He doesn't want to go on big right-wing channels, Tim Pool, either, because he thinks trying to convert right-wingers is a lost cause. I mean, this is like an unsympathetic way of saying what I said, because I think I characterized and explained my thoughts and feelings on the subject pretty well. The main problem, the main issue is that a lot of people in my community will pretend they care about leftism or socialism or whatever else, but what they really want is content. So in a lot of cases, you know, people will be like, dude, you know, it's actually bad for the left that you won't like do this thing I'm interested in. And in reality, it's just because that's what they want to see. So that bias does exist. I'm not opposed to debates. I think I've got 4 sitting in my emails waiting for like a confirmation, potentially in the future. It's just a matter of being selective about them. But yeah, of course, obviously. No friendly conversations either. He considers them boring and unconstructive. This has been the case for years. I don't just like having people to chat on, like if there's a good reason to. I had Ryan Grimm on a couple days ago. But yeah, like that's been the case for ages. No chat fan Collins. It presents too many issues. He considers his fan base to be uninteresting. This is extremely uncharitable. Are you kidding me? First of all, yeah, the average member of my community is not like a media-trained live stream, like in terms of like the ability to. It's not even a matter of you being interesting. It's just a matter of being able to like charismatically engage in a live format. Did you take that one personally? Come on. Also, as I said, I don't know why you're not including this part. I said that the last 2 times we tried to do call-in streams, immediately trolls for debate, trolls for convo. The problem is it's a matter of motivation, and the people most motivated to talk to me on stream from my community are people who are like weirdo, desperate trolls who will do or say anything to maintain a conversation with me. They'll lie about their positions. They will fake like emotional issues. They will do whatever they need to be on stream for longer. This is a real issue. It signals to me that this post is in bad faith, that you wouldn't even include that point when that is by far the main problem, you know? Like, Jesus, man. Wants to continue covering news articles, doing research streams. Well, I mean, yeah, I do news and I want to do more research streams. Sure. After viewing this video, I'm not super optimistic about the future of this channel. This is exactly what I mean. This is why you can't listen to your... well, this person isn't my community. This person is a single rabble-rouser. But people have been doing this like, bro, the channel's dead for like literal years at this point. You can't just take the advice from people who want to see a specific kind of content because they obviously don't know what you know. This is an election year. Biden's chances are slightly weaker due to the Israel shit, and the Republicans have reaffirmed their desire to be bigoted, genocidal monsters. This is the time to grow the channel, bring in as many people as possible. What is... Huh? Vaush stated he wants to be a Big Ten channel, but he hasn't addressed his sub count in the past year. Hasn't addressed his sub count in the past year. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of the fact that I was a CEO speaking to a shareholder meeting. What the f do you mean? First of all, it's not like a secret my subs grow slowly. I get a bunch of subs, but I lose a bunch of subs. I'm always getting, you know, I take a lot of heat. What do you want from me? Second of all, what parasocial bullshit is this? What the addressed his sub count? Oh yeah, you know, I'm pointing up at a big like stonks chart, quarterly projections. Weird. Why wouldn't you just say like his sub count growth has flagged? That's true. That's a true statement. You know, why say it like this? It's weird. 2 to 4K a month, much lower than the other creators in the space. What other creators in the space? Nor does he set any goals for growth in the next year. What? This was just a clip from a 10-hour New Year's video. It didn't need to contain a full, like, market breakdown, like 2-hour goal sheet. What are you talking about? My yearly project. I apologize that I didn't fit those in to the big stream that I did. You know, YouTube Shorts and TikTok are huge now, but he doesn't even discuss whether or not he wants to try to get into that space. It's just a clip from a stream. Okay, for people who have watched that video, because I don't remember the section that it's talking about, do I give the impression in that video that I am delivering like a cohesive 100% thorough, like, this is every single pointer for the future? Because my impression, like my memory of it, was that I was saying like, oh yeah, here's like a direction I want to go in. I didn't realize that by not explicitly stating that I wanted more subs, that was me indicating I didn't care about getting more subs. Like, why would I say that? Isn't that obvious? Like, why, like, you know, forgot to mention the most important part. I didn't mention I want to keep breathing either, you know? He said the woke school types are irrelevant, but people like FD Signifier have already surpassed Vaush's sub count. FD Signifier isn't a woke... Oh, they don't know what I mean. FD Signifier isn't a woke school type. That's not what I mean. The woke school... That whole dynamic was like a broader community issue with regards to performative hypersensitivity. FD Signifier isn't exactly on good terms with the channel, but he's just a popular video essayist. If anything, like, there are other and possibly worse ideological biases that FD Signifier has. But I wouldn't call him a woke scold. You know? That's not... I don't think I've ever called him that. And Noah Samson's almost there too. I haven't even heard Noah Samson's name in like a year. I don't know. I'm sorry. Your video essayist channels that don't have to deal with the constant crushing weight of the drama that I do will probably see more reliable sub growth. That's not necessarily indicative of influence. I have a ridiculously large amount of influence relative to my sub count because my view count is so high. 10 million views a month between my two channels isn't something to, like, you know, discount entirely, and no video essayist can compete with that. That means a higher density of attention for the people who watch my content. That means they're more engaged. That means the total number of hours of content they watch is higher. It means they're more likely to sort of spread that influence through their other social channels. You know, it's not... like, not to say that, you know, the sub growth thing isn't an issue or whatever. I'm just like, the channel's hardly dead. Jesus. Got like, didn't I get like 12,000 people watching my live stream 3 days ago? And then it was like 11,000 the day after that? I mean, you know, like, I don't feel irrelevant. Vaush doesn't treat the growth of his channel with any urgency. What you... Nor does he develop plans to play the algorithm and get new audience members. If I had plans to play the algorithm, why would I tell them to you? What? Do you think I don't talk to my editors? What do you mean? What are you talking about? He also eschews what made him popular in the first place, debates. Debates aren't what made me pop. I can see where my subs come from. Debates get the most views consistently, but those actually aren't what have the largest and most outsized contributions to my sub count. They tend to be either like, sometimes the algorithm just favors a video, you know, sometimes that does happen. But in many cases, it's actually about critical and specific coverage of certain issues, either in regards to news coverage or like an ideological thing, like about the alt-right or dog whistling or whatever. The debate videos often get larger view counts because people re-watch them. Not necessarily because they bring in more subs. Also, by the way, there are plenty of debates on my channel that don't have anywhere near as many views as the ones that people typically think of, you know, Charlie Kirk or whatever. Well, that's not even on my channel. And that's because the view count of a debate is proportional to its quality. Do you know how hard it is to find quality debates? I've talked about this. He's even given up on de-radicalization despite playing it up so much in the past. No, I've said that as the right becomes more openly anti-empiricist, it's more difficult to pull people over in spaces where that anti-empiricism is at its most prominent and pronounced. What's more, there are communities that are so deliberately irrational that I genuinely don't know if the people watching even care that they're wrong. A good example would be, you know what? Since this person, hold on, not to dox their comment history, we'll see. Oh, no, they're not. Okay, then. Since this person is spiritually a Destiny viewer, I'll just say a good example that I can think of is when Destiny went on Fresh and Fit and debated Nick Fuentes. This is, in terms of like content and engagement and entertainment, an enormously high profile get, and it probably got a ton of views. However, and I could be wrong, I certainly don't have his data or analytics or whatever, the impression I got from the fallout from that, from what glimpses of it I caught, certainly I have plenty of mutuals with Destiny, is that it was largely a shit show, and that the kind of people who watch Fresh and Fit and Nick Fuentes aren't the kind of people who are going to be swayed positively by an accurate, delivery of immigration statistics and the lack of overrepresentation of Jewish people in American government. Some environments are much, much harder to crack. I think de-radicalization efforts are better focused in the broader conservative space, rather than the kinds of conservative spaces that pride themselves on that kind of openly irrational online debate. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, to put it like this way, right? If ever there was a group of conservatives who were not likely to be swayed by hearing a good idea, the kinds who watch Alex Jones are probably up there, right? There are community spaces where that isn't necessarily the case. Tim Pool, for example, a couple years ago, actually did have an audience pretty susceptible to different ideas. But Tim Pool a couple years ago and Tim Pool now are two very different communities, Since then, Tim Pool has abandoned the adrift liberal bullshit and just says just any old, whatever old shit, And as a consequence of that, there seems to be a lot more ideological conformity in the Tim Pool community, which means that your likelihood of moving any individual there, I think, isn't quite as high, My guess is that Destiny's growth, which has been very impressive, and he's worked very hard at it. No snideness. Travels more for this shit than I ever could. My guess is that his growth has less to do with de-radicalization in these spaces and more to do with his galvanization of the left, meaning that liberal, centrist, and reactionary elements of the communities that he argues with and against are more likely to find him, even if they disagree with him, entertaining. A lot of people who are in the center or the right, or hell, even some like more moderate liberals, might find me entertaining just for comedy reasons, but also kind of insufferable because I'm so partisan, I'm so polarized. Destiny is extremely polarizing, but he's not partisan in the way that I am. So it's possible that he can engage with those communities and have a kind of secondary audience of people who don't really, like him, but they like his moxie. That's a critical difference, For my community at this point, I'm willing to bet, for the most part, people who watch me like me. Destiny has a much larger community at this point, and I think that's because he's able to maintain the interest of people who don't necessarily like him. I'm just guessing from afar, but that's my impression based on what I know. Does that make sense? How are you insufferable and too partisan? They're criticisms that I've heard. Yeah, I don't self-refer as an anarchist that much anymore. I mean, I do like the idea of posing a big tent, but I'm not going to hide being a socialist. And I mean, again, I've taken a look at my numbers in the back room, in the back rooms, in the back shots, whatever word I meant to say. And I gain a lot of subs, I think the last time I checked, even if my daily average in getting subs was in the ballpark of like 100 to 150 subs in a day, which is not a lot, by the way, the actual number of subs that I get, just gained subs, is more in the ballpark of, I think it was like 800 to 1,000 the day that I checked it. The problem is I lose a lot of subs every day. People get upset with me. People get like bullied into not watching me because they hear that I'm a rapist, bistio, sexual, pedophile, whatever, that kind of thing, They're weak, yes. So they leave. Unlike you guys who are strong because you stay in spite of all those true things, of course. It leads to a net narrow gain, but it's better than being dead in the water, I guess. Ultimately, it's Vaush's channel. He can do what he wants, but I'd hope he tried to expand and reach new people. I do. Don't worry. I want to. Given this is an election year with potentially huge ramifications. Trust me, I know. The woke scolds are largely irrelevant at this point because he hasn't drama. It's because the woke scolds won. The big guy just got sick of the unwarranted attacks and settled down to what happened to any of us. This isn't true. I never conceded anything to those communities. The communities that I would call woke scolds have dashed themselves against the impenetrable rock wall that is my channel at all. Like I got so much heat with the like Professor Flowers stuff, and I didn't back an inch off of it, like at all. You know, nothing about my behavior changed. I don't see how they won. I can't remember the last time he spoke about proper socialism. How do I make you people happy? Really? He's more or less set himself up as a left-leaning liberal. What? Wait. How can you simultaneously want me to run, like, to do a big tent, but also say that I need to speak more about proper socialism? Wouldn't the big tent solution to be to do what I have been doing, which is to engage with socialist critique and also promote it in a kind of like market socialist worker democracy kind of way? You know, like, isn't that like, I mean, if we're exclusively considering me like a super far left, like socialist, whatever, there are only so many socialist channels. There's not very far up to go if you only engage with politics from that framework, right? I feel like I talk about socialism plenty. Also, how much can I say about socialism? It doesn't exist anywhere in the world today. You know? Giving you guys updates on like cold fusion as well. Look, it'd be great if it happens, buddy. All right, I'll give you socialist critique, but I do that all the time. What's really disappointing is the lack of socialism compared to the old days. Look, you can do the Big Tent approach, or you can do like 100% like leftist theory. You can lack of ambition. I'd like to believe I would do differently given such a position. How this mighty warrior fell. I would, unlike Vaush, who fell due to lack of ambition, I would have the ambition to talk about socialism on a live stream. What are we even talking about? What does it mean? What does this mean? Oh, whoops! I'm showing removed comments. Why was this one removed? Oh, for being retarded. He burned the bridge with Deepak. No, I didn't. I correctly described a time that he, completely out of pocket, suggested that my more than $250,000 fundraised for Palestinian people went to Hamas. I later said, yeah, Deepak did that, and he did. And then he made a video saying it didn't happen when there's video footage of him saying it. That's not me burning a bridge. I'm sorry. Oh, it's wait. How many deleted comments am I gonna go through here? Hold on. There is an anti-retard rule in place in Vaush. It's very important, so it's not surprising. I think he's having issues with his niche at the moment, which is fine. I like what I do. Debate Bro isn't a worthwhile niche in streaming anymore. That is true. More structured. I think he should introduce a more structured, different form of content that could complement streams, like a regular podcast or something, but I sincerely doubt he'd go through it. That's actually not too bad of an idea. Yeah, having some kind of structured component. I know Vaush said he'd never go with scripted content, but he's good at it, and I feel like his content debates have gotten a bit stale of late. I mean, the debates are going to get stale because, like, the flavor of cards, like, this is just a problem with that kind of content. I'm fine with my content, though. I think it's good. How many gigantic Tomb Raider rants have we done, huh? We have done those before, actually. Did you forget the plans for Progressive Victory? That's going to be gearing up in a big way. You're completely right. He didn't mention them. Hope it's successful. He barely mentions PV at all. He just sends his viewers to it. What? What? I can never win. I've promoted and worked with them harder than I've ever promoted with or worked with anything. What do you want from me? We're going to be doing a fundraising stream for them soon. Vaush is, removed, I see. The retard filter. Vaush is lazy. Oh, wait, that's true. He's made it now. He has no interest in trying harder to get further. It's too bad, really, because he's really talented. Aw, thanks. He doesn't talk about PV enough. Literally a pin post in the subreddits from PV. Is it right now? Oh, shit, no kidding. Yeah. An older one, but we'll be replacing it with a newer one soon. We got some stuff to do. We got some business to take care of, folks. I guess now this is like a future of the channel thing. You know what the real God's honest truth is? Future of the blank whatevers are for people who do scripted, structured content. The most you can go for as a live streamer is vibes. You have no idea where any individual stream or day or week will take you. The most important thing is to keep your brain screwed on proper and to have a good attitude. And also, as much as people try to pull you away from it, the main reason that I'm successful and also a multi-billionaire now is because of the authenticity. It's the number one thing that I sell more than anything else, more so than my ability to speak or rhetoric or blah blah or whatever else. It's because I come across as a pretty like down-to-earth, straightforward person who like says what he means. I don't come across very conniving, I don't feel. And I think that that sells pretty well. And what people don't understand when they say like, you know, you should stick to this or you should do that, is that this is very much like a death by 1,000 paper cuts thing. There are some things that you can do in the name of like orderliness and discipline that actually do make the content better, but sometimes people don't understand how much a sincere interest in doing something is necessary in doing it correctly. When it comes to live streaming, if I could do multiple takes, then sure, you know, but I can't. I am here, you know? Whatever the case may be, the channel's doing great. I'm very optimistic about the future. I've been hearing this, you're washed, your channel's dead, every single year since 2020, since mid-2021, because we got a big sub boost throughout the election and up to January 6th and a bit after. So since mid-2021, so now it's been nearly 3 years, washed, it's over, blah, 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 you know, whatever. I just don't think people have a good a good a good assessment of these things from their perspective as a viewer who can you know, who can only watch the stream in between intermittently smearing their own face with feces. It's just they can't see what's going on.